What is up, Bucs Nation? It is February 2nd, 2024, and you're watching the Loose Cannons podcast. I'm your boy, Sammer, hanging out with Stank. No Poppy Latte tonight. He's enjoying the anniversary with him and his wife. So happy anniversary to Angie and Latte. And I see the technical difficulties we got on screen. And we're hanging out with Pless of Real Bucs Talk. What's up, Pless?
Hey, what's up, guys? Happy to be back on.
What's up? Whoa, what's going on, bro? Why does it look like that?
I'm fixing it.
What'd you do? What'd you do?
I'm fixing it.
Well,
I'm fixing
I
it.
I kind of like this look, bro. This is the off-season look. You know, we're
done. We're good.
We're retooling.
No, we're fixed. All right. So anyway, before Stank goes off the deep end, those of you who are new, you will hit the subscribe button on your way out. And those of you who know who we are and you know have been here before, hit the like button before you forget. I've left a poll in the chat asking if you are happy with the hiring of Liam Coen as the Bucs' new OC. Hell yeah, hell no, or bring back Byron being the three options. Go ahead and vote before, during, and after the show. Guys, the Bucs took some time, okay? They interviewed 5,000 candidates, and they finally found their guy by the name of Liam Coen, the offensive coordinator of the Kentucky Wildcats. Also has a history in the NFL, has a really good play calling resume, in my opinion. Dr. Pless, you guys called it, I believe, yesterday or the day before
Less than 24 hours ago.
Your show.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I'm going to let you kind of dive into the name Liam Coen and just, you know, the Bucs finally getting to the point where they now know who their play caller is and how this is all going to play out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when we heard his name, I think it was Tuesday afternoon. I think actually Rick Stroud reported it that they were going to interview him. And then we did research yesterday, Mark and I, just looking him over and seeing what he could bring to the table. And we had a feeling it was going to be someone from the Rams just because of the familiarity with Baker Mayfield, and most likely going to be the Bucs quarterback going forward. And just looking at Liam's resume, it made a lot of sense. And when they were interviewing him yesterday, I figured, you know what, we'll put a video out, and we put it out kind of late. It was around, I think, 9 o'clock, 9:30 last night, and just felt like he was the favorite going into this after he interviewed, because again, he's got that system. He knows how to call plays. He's done a very good job with Kentucky. He helped the development of Will Levis during that 2021 year, and has really, I think, grown as an offensive coach very quickly. Again, I think he's only 38 years old, only 38 years old, but as Stank fixes his setup there. It's funny. But yeah, I just feel like his understanding of the offense and understanding of, you know, mixing the run and pass. He's a pass first guy, which I think is awesome. A lot of play action, a lot of motion that we're going to see. So I just feel like it's a very good fit for what the Buccaneers have, and it makes a lot of sense that he was, you know, decided as offense coordinator.
Plus, can you repeat everything you just said?
Right. Everyone blacked out.
I didn't hear any of it at all.
Yeah.
Sad.
My camera's crooked now. The fuck is going on?
Stank, open up a blank white screen on your browser. Just search white image on Google Open it
No,
up.
that's not the problem. That's not the problem.
And you'll get some light in front of you.
I got it fixed.
What, we take off a week and a half, and you don't even know how to use your computer anymore?
Bro, my shit was dead when I got in here, bro. It's off season, man. There's fucking cobwebs rolling around in here.
I'm just gonna roll.
I fired everybody in the off season, by the way. All of them. Intern Betty,
all of them.
Gone.
The whole staff.
Gone. So, we're starting over here too.
Right. So you kind of touched a little bit on it, and I don't want to, take away from your video, but Pless, what does Liam Coen actually bring to the Bucs in terms of the system, the offense? He's got a Sean McVay history. He's got, I believe, the same. I believe he learned under the same guy that Dave Canales learned under. So some of the terminology probably will carry over. Same language, different dialect kind of scenario here, where the Bucs should be able to kind of transition pretty smoothly, which again helps out in keeping certain guys, from hitting the free agency market and not coming back. So what does he actually bring to the Bucs from an offensive play calling standpoint and from a system going into 2024 and hopefully kind of continuing what we got going on right now?
Yeah, it's a very good concepts as far as the passing game goes. He likes to do a lot of, vertical concepts with a mix of horizontal. So a lot of it's more long developing plays, but he does a great job of marrying that with protection, making sure the quarterback has time, uses a lot of quarterback bootlegs, rollouts, stuff that fits what Baker is best at, right? And he does a great job of mixing a lot of different run schemes. It's not just one thing. It's a marriage of motion, and he runs even a lot of duo, which we're used to. We've seen that with the Buccaneers in the past. A lot of, wide zone too, with a mixture of mid zone. So it's a bit of everything as far as the run game goes. And I really like that aspect because he has had production from his running backs, at least when he's calling the plays at Kentucky. Didn't really call him when he was the OC in 2022 with the Rams. I did find out, I think via Peter Report, that he did call plays when Baker was there towards the end of the season. So that's good. And they had success in those final games. So there's a lot to like with him. I think he understands the game because he is a former quarterback. He was quarterback at Maine. So he has a big picture mindset from like an all-22 perspective. Really understands all the positions. So I think that is going to be a huge asset. Very good communicator. Knows how to get his point across. So I think the guys are really going to like him. And it should be a lot of fun to see his offense really grow. And I think, like you said, similar concepts. So the language is going to be pretty similar. It's just going to be maybe some different terms here and there. So I'm excited to see what he can do with this team. And I expect Baker Mayfield to be back. Obviously, Mike Evans, those guys I think will return. And I think also another thing, and to addition to that, I think tight end is probably going to be something of a priority as far as adding to that room. I think they need a guy that can maybe do a little bit of everything, maybe stretch the field a little bit more. So I would look for that too, as far as this offense goes.
Yeah, it's clear the Bucs made a point to go get a guy that can smoothly transition from what he likes to do, or to what he likes to do from what Dave did, but without having to relearn an entire new offense, because they're making sure that there's no reason for Baker not to come back to the Bucs, and no reason for Mike Evans to come back to the Bucs in terms of we don't want to learn a whole new offense. They wanted that to not be on the list from what I know and from what I've heard, and obviously from the people that they've interviewed and from the guy that they've eventually finalized in terms of who they're going to hire for this position. So that's huge for me. And again, the run game, like you talked about.
Yep.
Stank, are you with us?
Yeah. I'm just enjoying the show. This is so far. You guys are making a lot of great points. Listen, they don't hire this guy unless Baker's coming back. Sorry, they just don't.
Yep.
Another guy with no play calling experience. They did this for continuity. Clearly, they want Baker back. Baker was interviewed a few times here in the last 48 hours. It's pretty clear he wants to be back. Obviously, he can't be like, I'm coming back, because they're negotiating money.
He's got to posture. He's got to do the posturing.
He does. He's got to do posturing, but he found a home here. It's pretty clear. Jason Light loves the guy. We know that. The entire organization loves the guy. His teammates love him. He's not out there throwing his wide receivers under the bus, a la Derek Carr. There's no infighting going on, bro. Like, he found a home here. It's pretty crazy, you know, off the tail of the GOAT being here, that you insert a guy like that who's able to kind of bring, you know, the same type of fucking presence to the building. Different, but still take over. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was able to fill that hole.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes when you're the next guy up, you can't fill the hole.
It depends. You know, it depends who came before you, right?
Right, exactly. That's a pretty big hole. When you're the GOAT, you know, we all know what he brings to the table. Everybody knows, right? Mm-hmm. And you never know when Baker gets it in there, whether or not he's going to be able to fill that hole. And clearly he did, because everybody left satisfied. The entire fan base, me, my wife didn't even know who Baker was. Extremely satisfied. Mm-hmm. So, you know, if you look at it from that perspective, it was a successful season. And why not bring in a guy who's has a little bit of experience with Baker, you know, and also comes from that McVay tree, which everybody loves. Everybody. Yeah. And he's ugly as fuck.
Ugly as
That's
fuck.
The thing, bro.
Before we go into that, though, before we dive into that,
okay,
because we're gonna go to you. You're the ugly expert. We're gonna roll right into that in a second. But I want to touch on one point. He did call plays for Baker, not just, you know, towards the end of the season there in terms of like a game or two. He went from week 12 to 17, and I believe he also decided, I wanted to do this more. And Sean McVay didn't want to give up that duty, and so that's what kind of drove him to go back to Kentucky. Because a lot of people on Twitter today, oh, you know, why is he jumping back and forth? Why doesn't he have a home? Listen, the guy wanted to call plays, and so he said, you know what? If I'm not going to be able to call plays here, I'm going to go do it in Kentucky, get that under my belt. I think that's a massive thing.
Sam, go ahead and tell everybody what we know. He tried to get McVay fired. He
tried to weasel his way in. He tried to weasel his way in.
Retire, you old bitch. And McVay is like, I may retire, maybe I won't retire. And this guy was trying to kick McVay out, and McVay wouldn't leave, so he left.
The biggest thing, too, for him is now he can bring a running game to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who we've been dead last for 2 straight years. Last 4 or 5 years, I don't think we've been any higher than like 25 maybe. So, like, now we kind of get to reinvigorate that side of the ball. And, you know, people want to talk about how creative McVay's offense is, but McVay's offense typically tries to run the ball. Like, you know, that same misconception goes with John Gruden's offense. John Gruden liked to run the ball. And I believe that this guy's going to bring a completely different aspect to this team. He'll bring his own coaches in, obviously, so they'll be able to kind of start to expand beyond just passing the ball. And I think if we could run the ball, we have Rachaad White, maybe we had a couple pieces in the offseason, it's going to be a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I think the run game is going to be a very important piece to that equation. I think just bringing in different guys, like you said, on the staff. I think a better offensive line coach is coming in here, potentially from Kentucky. I think.
Pless, what's his name? Number 1, the running back.
Oh,
from Kentucky.
Ray Davis.
Sweet baby Ray.
Yeah, sweet.
That's
baby
what we need to bring in here. He's short. He's stocky. He's got that little Doug Martin type body. He's my favorite.
He's a perfect back. Yep. But he's also the perfect kind of back you want to put and pair up with a guy like Rachaad. It's very much like Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Obviously, Gibbs is faster and smaller, but Rachaad has that kind of ability. He's obviously out of the backfield. He's catching passes, so that's a huge thing, man. He's going to be able to reach into that, you know, college system and grab guys and coaches. Before we dive into that, though, Stank, we got to go back to you now, right?
Yeah.
We went through this all season with Dave Canales, right? We thought he was too pretty to be a football coach that could succeed.
No, we know for a fact.
And as he got into the season, he kind of got older, baggy eyes. You know, he wasn't getting as much sleep, was getting more stressed, starting to see little grays in there, not as crisp and clean. And the uglier he got, what did we notice, Pless? He was calling plays better. He became a better football coach. Yeah. Now we're hiring a guy, no offense to this dude, right? Looks normal with his glasses on, but you take him off. Holy shit, this guy's like, Stank, go right in. Tell me what we expect from him because of how ugly this guy is.
A la Real Bucs Talk. We've got film of Dave Canales gradually getting uglier. Go ahead, Sammer, pull it up.
No, I don't have it ready. I'm sorry.
It's not ready?
Like you, see, I had to send all the interns back overseas, and then they're going to come back now with new student, visas and whatnot. But until then, we don't have any film that we can just pull up. But Stank, let's talk about this. We went from pretty coach,
human trafficker,
to ugly coach.
This guy, everybody's seen his picture. Look, there's a little miniature version of him up on the screen right now. Ugly, right? If you're in the fucking meeting room and you got Dime Piece Dave up there with his fucking telestrator and he's on the whiteboard, and you're just looking at that chiseled fucking jawline, right? And he fucks, right? We know that now. It publicly came out. New York Post.
A lot more than he should be.
A lot more than everybody knew, right? And you're over there trying to understand the game plan, and that guy's up there, it's a distraction. No longer do we have that distraction, bro. This guy, he's got a male, fucking dad bod, love handles hanging off the side, bad posture, double chin, receding hairline. This is what you want,
That's
bro.
a beautiful football coach is what that is. That's a beautiful football coach.
Ginger, look, Jason Light hit it out of the park, bro. And we know, because you and Jason talk every day, we know what they were looking for. And at the top of the list, ugly as sin. Because Jason was tired. Jason was tired of looking at Dave. I don't know. He's not going to come out and publicly and say that, but Jason was sick of looking at that guy.
Listen, he walks into the interview room, right? He's got binders and books, and he not only did he have answers for everything, but dude, he was fucking hideous. I mean, and once he walked in, Jason and I looked at each other, we locked eyes, and we're like, we just kind of grinned. We're like, we understood. Like, we knew once he walked in, this guy may be, if he can answer some of these questions and continue to talk and not be able to shut up when you call a ball, I was like, we may have found the guy. And
you said he had quite a bit of pit sweat going on, right?
Oh, he smelled. He stank. He was sweating. Yeah. I mean, you think he was in he was arrested. You think he was in one of those rooms where he's being questioned, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
He was being interviewed for a job about football. But that's just part of his package, right? And I think that all in itself encompassing, that is a beautiful football coach. All right.
Hey, speaking of package, Big Dick Pless, you want to chime in on this?
No, I think you guys are making a lot of sense here. I think, him,
of course,
with his appearance, I think that will definitely help limit distractions and at least take it away. So
there it is. And he's smart. I'm clearly not. And Sammer, who knows? So you heard it from
Stank, hold on.
You heard it from Dr. Pless. What?
He kind of looks like a Muppet. Like he kind of looks like he doesn't have. How Muppets don't have like a chin and they got the. It's got a little Muppet too. Yeah,
none.
Yeah, I mean this guy. Listen, like you said, Stank. They hit this one out of the park.
Right.
Slam out of the park. Now, Pless.
They did, bro. I said Cox out for Coen earlier. Really wish you would have named the episode Cox out for Coen because clickbait.
Wouldn't have gotten very much.
Speaking of Cox out, hey Susan. Susan's in the building.
Susan,
good to see you. Yeah.
All right. So
how's everybody in the chat feeling about Coen?
I mean, 90% of people are saying hell yeah. 4% said hell no, and 6% said bring back Byron. A little surprised by that. I think those people just want to see the world burn. Now, Pless, we touched a little bit.
We got a super chat.
Oh, there it is.
Huge super chat from Nightwing. Fuck up, buck up, suck up. I'm not really sure what that is, but second super chat. They're all rolling in now.
We're not hearing your horn, by the way.
What?
That's okay.
Thoughts on Baker's reported number of $40 million per year and Evans wanting $25 to $30 million. All right, so let's get this straight because people like to run with some nonsense here. Neither of these two players have asked for this, so don't say Evans wanting 25 to 30. Right. This is what somebody is projecting and saying they should be paid or will be paid or estimating they will be paid. I don't know what that actual number is, and I don't think there's anybody sitting in there demanding we're getting this much or we're out of here. None of that nonsense. And this kind of touches in a little bit about what we're about to talk about with you, Pless, is now that they brought in a guy like this that isn't really changing this offense wholesale change-wise, what does this mean for Mike Evans? What does this mean for Baker Mayfield? And how does this now basically kind of, make sure they're staying? Yeah. Like, is this kind of like the bam? Let's make this is kind of like the first foot to fall.
Yeah, I think they were coming back regardless. I think they were going to be back. Mike Evans and Baker, I think, want to be here. They understand what they have. Mike doesn't want to leave. I think if the Bucs can come somewhere close to, that number that maybe he's looking for, I think he's back regardless. And then Baker Mayfield, I think, loves it here. Like you guys said, this is a home here. He has a great relationship with the team, the front office, everybody here. It just makes sense for him to stay. And I think they will do a good job of finding a good contract that works for both him and Mike Evans and the rest of the free agents that they're going to try to bring back. Antoine, probably going to get a franchise tag. You look at Levante David, I think he'll be back. So they're going to do what they can to get back these core players, and I don't see them leaving.
Somebody said, Sam, are you crazy? Evans knows he doesn't have much time left. He's going to want to break the bank. Listen, Mike Evans has never wanted to break the bank. He wants to get paid what is respectable and what is, fair for what he does for this team and what he brings to the table and what he does league-wide. That's all he's ever said. That's all he's ever wanted. He's not, a diva. He's not, I want to be the highest paid wide receiver. He's not A.J. Brown. And so with that being said, he wants to stay here. He wants to be here. There's no reason for him to take a massive bag and then because of that not be able to keep his quarterback, not be able to keep a guy like, Tristan Wirfs longer term, not be able to keep a guy like Antoine beyond the franchise tag. Yeah. Mike played on a lot of shitty teams, and he doesn't want to go back to that. So he's going to take a little bit less, but what he thinks is fair, and I think that's what Baker's going to do. Like you said, Pless, I think all these guys, that's what's so good about the guys that Jason's drafted is they're not very selfish people. They're very team-friendly guys. Obviously, I'm not saying take a discount just to take a discount. Mm-hmm. Take what's fair to you, but you don't have to break. I'm telling you right now, Mike Evans has never once said, make me the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. It's never come out of his mouth. His agent might pretend so, but it definitely has not.
Yeah. Yeah, let's not pretend also that this guy's a ring chaser. He could have demanded to leave to another organization a long time ago, and he likes it here. Mm-hmm. And I think him and Baker built a little bit of chemistry last year. I just can't see him leaving and playing in another uniform for the last 2 years. He just doesn't seem like that guy. Right. I can't see it. And fuck you, Caleb Bennock. I don't know if you watch this show, but you're out there openly, hoping he goes to the Chiefs. Fuck you, dude. All right.
There's no way. So, here's the other thing. He has a home in Texas. I don't think it's in Houston. I could be wrong, but I feel like it's closer to his hometown.
Yeah, Galveston.
I believe that's Galveston.
Yep.
So, if there was ever a team that could lure him to play for them kind of towards the end of his career because he already has a home there. He doesn't have to uproot his family and take them somewhere that they are not familiar with. They don't have friends. They don't have family. They don't have a support system. It could be Houston, but keep in mind, Houston has 2 stud wide receivers. Why would they bring in an older Mike Evans, even if he is extremely efficient and effective? How are you going to fit him in? There's only one ball, and he's not going to go there and be a third guy. He's not going to be 2A. He's not going to be 1B. He's the guy. So it doesn't even make sense for him to go there to the only other option that he would go to. And he has too much respect for himself to ring chase like you guys are talking about. So this whole notion that somebody, I don't know, do you guys see what's happened on Twitter? Somebody told me he flashed the Houston Texans hand gesture, and that means he's going to the Texans.
No, I think it was just saying what's up. That's just a signal of, saying hi or whatever. But yeah, I think these players also understand how close they are. Like, this team isn't very far away. They were right there against Detroit. If we made a couple plays here or there, probably would have won that game. And who knows what would have happened against San Francisco. So I think the team understands, okay, we're not that far away from getting back to where we were in 2020 as far as the Super Bowl. So
yeah. Plus, wasn't it you who told me that you heard that Mike was on the fence between the Bucs and Texans, and he'd text Baker and said, listen, bro, it's you and CJ Stroud in this Pro Bowl competition. It's down to you guys. If CJ beats you, I'm going to Houston. And we all know what happened.
Yeah,
Baker put his dick on the table. He said, young man, take a seat. That's my Mike Evans. And so, nobody's going to tell you these types of inside.
So you think that competition decided it last night? It was
that competition absolutely decided it.
Mike had money on that, like a lot of money.
Mike had a ton of money on it.
About $25 million a year money.
Right. Really pride as well. Like you can't let a guy come into your house, and Orlando's kind of our house, right? Does anybody claim Orlando? It's such an armpit of a fucking city. Anyways, in our house, as I was saying, you don't come into our house and win these made up drills, right? You don't do that.
No.
And Bake said, fuck that. This is mine. That's my Mike Evans, and we're keeping him here. So rest assured, everybody just take a fucking deep breath. Panicking in the chat room right now. Calm the fuck down. Right. Mike Evans is here. We've got Cox out for Coen now. Everything is trending in the right trajectory.
People also don't realize there's a lot of smoke. There's a lot of stuff put out by agents to drum up more money for their guys. There's a lot of stuff that's put out by other teams to mess up guys that want to return to those teams that they played for the season prior. And then all the guys that are talking, the players themselves, they're saying what their agents are telling them to say. Don't say too much this way. Don't say too much that way. Smile, shake hands, kiss babies, that whole deal. Like, this is all bullshit, guys. It's all smoke and mirrors. How many of these people were freaking out about Levante David 2 years ago, or Carlton Davis, or Jamel Dean, or every one of these guys? Oh, we're not gonna get him back. And what happened?
Imagine doubting Jason Light.
Imagine it, dude.
Ever.
Yeah, there's one thing you got to do, and that is trust. You got to put your trust in Jason Light because he has done a great job. Him and Mike Greenberg coming back and not getting a GM job, I think that was huge. For him being here and staying and now being assistant GM, I think, that is awesome that he has a guy in Greenberg that can do these contracts and continue to, keep this team competitive and have an opportunity to get to a Super Bowl again. And I think with a couple additions here or there, especially with them bringing back who they're going to bring back, Bucs are going to be right there in the middle of it. Potentially. I think it's going to be a lot of fun this season, just seeing how this team can progress, especially now with a guy like Liam Coen as an experienced play caller, a guy that has taken a team in Kentucky and had them in the tops of rankings as far as offense goes, and also helped out Will Levis too. I think that's a huge attribute to him, and I think it'll be a lot of fun to see what he can do with receivers like this. This is probably the best receiving talent he's had. And that is saying a lot because the Rams do have Cooper Kupp and a couple of good receivers there, but this is probably the best group he's going to be able to work with. And then also a good foundational offensive line to build around. I think that's going to be fun.
The other thing too, now the Bucs have the opportunity not only to bring in a real play caller, no offense to Dave Canales, right, but now they can actually bring in a guy.
Offense to Dave.
Okay, offense to Dave. Now they can bring in a guy who can actually build his own offensive staff. Yes. So last year, you kind of have to think about it like this. Dave was hired a little bit late, in my opinion. Right. But not only that, he didn't come with a staff. He didn't have guys that he could go and reach out to and bring in. And so the Bucs and Todd Bowles and Jason Light were kind of handcuffed to keeping a lot of the same guys that were there from BA and from Byron, guys that kind of hindered the offense and weren't, fixing the run game from the O-line standpoint, from the run game coordinator standpoint. Now those guys are no longer under contract. They're gone. Now they say, Coen, come in here, build it how you want to. And so now we actually really get to see another version of Todd's actual vision for his team. And a lot of people talk about, he was a conservative coach, yada, yada. He hired a guy who was not a conservative play caller. No. So, again, another baseball bat to the stupid notion and narrative that people have about this guy for no fucking reason. And that leads me to my next question for you, Pless. Mm-hmm. How does Coen build his staff here in Tampa? Does he go and grab some pieces from the LA Rams if there's any left? Does he go back to college to grab some guys? I know he has an O-line coach that everyone's fucking salivating over. How do you see him building the staff, and how do you think it's going to end up forming?
Yeah, Pless, tell us all about Coen's staff.
I want to know all about that staff, baby.
Yeah.
He looks like he might have some staph infection or something.
He definitely looks like he's packing a big staph.
Yeah,
I agree.
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. But yeah, he's gonna bring, I think, a mixture, like you said, some guys from the Rams. I would be very interested to see if he brings over Jake Peets, the other guy that they interviewed. Maybe bring him over.
Also hideous. Also, right. Absolutely.
Could you imagine?
Horrifying to look at.
They interview two guys, they end up hiring one, they still get both of them for the same deal. That'd be pretty sweet. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just think that could be an option because, again, when Liam Coen was the offensive coordinator for the Rams, Jake Peets worked underneath him. So there could be an option where he comes in as quarterback's coach. Maybe he keeps the pass game coordinator job as well. And then, like you were talking about, the offensive line coach from Kentucky, I think would be a huge addition. That's Zach Yenser, I believe is his name. He would be awesome because he worked with San Francisco from 2019 to 2021 when they had a really good run game. Always produced 1,000-yard rushers. So I think that would be definitely one name to look out for. And then it comes down to, who do you want for receivers coach? What are you going to do with, running backs and tight ends? Are you going to keep, skip, is it Skip Peets, I think? Are they going to keep him, Skip Peets, or are they going to let go of John Van Dam, as a tight ends coach? He was up for an interview, but he didn't get to do that interview because they already decided on Liam Coen. So I think it's going to be a mixture of guys. I would think you would look probably mainly from Kentucky, see if some of those guys will follow you. The receivers coach and O-line coach would be something to look at. But
because the Ram staff has been picked pretty fucking clean at this point.
Yeah, Zach Robinson, obviously with Atlanta, I thought that was going to be our first choice. And then, I was looking at Jake Peets. I thought maybe he could be the guy. But when Liam came up, I was like, yeah, this is the dude. This is the dude right here to get us as far as this offense, get it going and get it to where it needs to be and be actually a modern offense where we're passing on first down, we're sequencing properly, we're using tempo when it's needed. That's a big thing. Tempo is going to be huge with Liam Coen. So that's awesome. Like, I really like that.
He seems to be an aggressive type of guy too.
Yes.
I like that. A little bit of
likes to go downfield, likes big plays.
He's got that Sean McVay energy, that yelling at the guys, getting excited.
Yeah, he's got a little of that.
Very good communicator. And play action is going to be a huge part of this game, and I can't wait to see it. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Most exciting thing for me is probably seeing how their offensive line, not only how they played in San Francisco with that guy, but also how he kind of learned from what they do in LA. But if you go to Kentucky, these guys are fucking beasts. Like, they're not the most talented set of guys in terms of the front five, but they're big and they're nasty and they're aggressive and they're very physical, which is something this team has been missing for a little bit. Even when Tom Brady was here and we were winning the Super Bowl, we weren't a physically gifted, like, we weren't physical up front. We weren't overpowering you. We weren't going to just shove your face in the dirt outside of Ryan Jensen, who just retired today. Yeah. Fucking
and
awesome,
Allie.
dude. Congratulations.
Allie could put it on you.
Allie Marpet. But now this guy kind of brings a more of a nastiness to this team from a coaching perspective, which I'm most excited about. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's one of the reasons we're not a good running team. We haven't been for a long fucking time. Mm-hmm. I think they know they need to get a little – I mean, with this style of offense, clearly you don't want to go with, just fire plugs, because I'm assuming that they're still going to run some zone concepts. You're right. So
they're going to want athleticism.
Right. So you're going to need some more athletic guys, but it'll be interesting, man. I mean, we know we need turnover in the middle of the offensive line, whether Cohen's here or not. That Jason's going to be focusing on the center position, the guard position, the interior of the offensive line. We're set at tackle for quite a while now. I think Luke has proved that he can get it done, and obviously Tristan, go ahead and put him in the Hall of Fame, because he's going to end up there. A little earlier, I saw King Cook say we're in a coaching carousel, and that's not good. 20 teams right now have new offensive coordinators? Is that not an exaggeration?
No, I mean, everybody. It happens every year. I mean,
everybody right now is in our position right now. Yeah. The entire NFC South.
Right. No, I was just going to say offense coordinator is one of the positions that continues to have turnover, because, again, a lot of these teams are looking for the next, McVay, Mike McDaniel. So there's always guys that are leaving and going or going elsewhere. It's just going to happen. That's just part of the game.
I think he's more alluding to the fact that some of those teams head coaches are the offensive guy. So you can kind of rebuild the staff and replenish, and they're just going to keep taking your guys every year.
Keep getting poached.
Right. Yep. But you still have the head of the snake there. Whereas some defensive teams, or teams like, the Ravens run by John Harbaugh, who's a special teams guy, they just kind of have to figure things out every single year. And you know what? That doesn't mean there's not a way to do that. Look at John Harbaugh. I mean, he's a perfect example, honestly. He loses defensive coordinators and offensive coordinators every single year, whether he's firing them or they're getting plucked away. Like, Todd Monken will be a head coaching candidate at some point, I think. Maybe not after this past, playoff run, but at some point, and then he'll be back at square one again. And this is like, but good coaches figure it out.
It happens with good teams, period. The Patriots,
that's what I'm saying. Good teams figure it out.
Ravaged. KC, it happens. It helps to have a franchise quarterback in place. And then you can really, everything else around it's a little bit, more interchangeable. But yeah, you can't get fixated on the fact that there's turnover. If this guy's successful this year, good chance he's gone next year, because that's just the way it fucking is right now in the NFL. So whatever, but that's the case for everybody. I think I heard earlier the Saints are hiring Kubiak as their offensive coordinator. If he's successful there, he's one and done there. He probably has a head coaching job somewhere.
He's got some question marks, that guy, by the way. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the way it is right now. I don't know if it's always going to be that way. But as long as Todd Bowles is here and we don't have an offensive coordinator in the head coach position, I think you're going to see turnover at that position as long as we have success.
But here's the thing though, with a guy like Coen who's going to bring in his own guys.
Yeah.
He's kind of going to be the guy who's kind of cultivating that side of that coaching tree. And now he's got dudes there. So if he gets poached, you go to the guy right below. Hey, we're going to make you the offensive coordinator. Yeah. You don't need to go away. You don't. You
have to have a succession plan now.
There will be a succession plan. When Dave Canales was taken by the Panthers, there was nobody on that staff worth a damn to be that next guy up.
Right.
Like
the only guy was Brad Isaac, and he was not going to stay here though. So
and he was going to go with Dave, right? So all the other guys though, like it was almost like the Bucs were like happy to let them go. And, I appreciate what good he did for this team, but he hasn't, you're the run game coordinator of the worst running team for 2 straight years. Any other scenario, you are fired, let alone seeing the end of your contract. So, like that, this is a good thing. And some people are like, somebody said here in the chat, hiring a defensive coordinator as your head coach is old school. The Seattle Seahawks just hired a defensive coordinator, did they not? Did the Washington Commanders just hire a defensive coordinator?
The Falcons.
The Falcons hired this is not. It's not old school. It's just what you think you can do with what the guys you have, what you can develop. It's a different approach, and I think some guys can overcome. Guys like Tomlin, he overcomes every single time. He doesn't meddle in either side of the ball. He still overcomes. He's having a little bit of trouble with the offensive coordinator right now, but he's still he wins. What he's always had a winning season, right, Pless?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean. I'm excited about what Cohen's going to bring. I'm excited to see what he's going to build with the guys that he brings in, because I think this is going to be a bigger infusion of change than people realize. Last year, from Byron to Dave Canales, looked a little too similar at times, right? This one will be different. I'm curious to ask you, Pless, with how they like to run the ball, with him coming from college, will he kind of push Jason Light to go get a guy like JPJ in the draft, or a guy like Frazier from West Virginia sooner than maybe a guy like Jason Light prefers?
Yeah, no, I think that's great. That's great transition, because that's what I was going to talk about. Like with his offense coming in here, I think it's going to put priority on interior offensive line. I think priority on another tight end. I think running back and maybe another receiver type that has maybe a little more size to it, but has more, speed and wiggle. Because when I look at his teams, he has guys like a Tutu Atwell, kind of like a Deshaun Jackson type mold that I know we have some of that in Trey Palmer. He does have that breakaway speed downfield, but I think they're going to be looking for a guy that can catch the ball in space and just make things happen. And Rachaad White does that at times. I would like to see more of that, get him more involved in the passing game, which will be fun. But I think priority will be getting bigger in the middle as far as the offensive line. So center obviously comes to mind, because Robert Hainsey, I just don't think he's molded for center. I think he could probably be a better left guard potentially. Maybe they put him in that rotation where he competes at guard instead, where he doesn't really have to anchor as much in that middle where you're not getting drive back into Baker. I think that might suit him better. So, yeah, I think center prospects in this draft like JPJ would be awesome. I think him at 26 should be in consideration. I think he would be a great addition. He's clearly the best center in this draft, in my opinion. And then, or you could wait, to the second round and hope like a Zach Frazier, maybe a Van Pran from Georgia, some of those guys. So
I like Van Pran. I also like that kid out of Maryland that you can get much later on that I think comes in and, Ryan Jensen, when was he drafted? 6th round.
Yeah.
you don't have to find, like, I was arguing with somebody on Twitter. Yeah, like you don't to get a 10-year center who's there and he's at the top of the league at his position. You don't have to draft him in the 1st round. If you don't, if you can go a different route, then great. And, Ali Marpet was a guard that nobody really knew about unless you watched the Senior Bowl that one time. Other than that, you really didn't know who he was. And Jason Light found him. So we're in a similar position. We don't have a center. We don't have a guard. And, I think he finds that guy. But you're right, man. Hainsey is not a center. He was the emergency guy, and he just 2 years he's kind of been sabotaged from being a left guard because he works all offseason to be that guy. Then all of a sudden, oh, hey, we need you to play center again. So we might not have a guard problem like people think.
Right.
I don't know yet, but we'll see. I still think they should draft both.
There's also free agency too, which I have no clue who's available.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm after the success we had with Ryan Jensen, poaching a proven center like that off the team like the Ravens. You never know because Jason could end up going that direction too.
Sure.
And then we fill that hole, with a veteran or a younger guy who's got some upside. Yeah, I mean, hey, we also haven't talked too much. Shout out to Ryan Jensen, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You're a loose cannons guy, right? You came, you showed us love when nobody else did. You're just a great fucking dude. Dean as well. Love you, man. It's awesome. You were the change this fucking organization needed. You brought something to this organization that we desperately needed, right? We went from, hey, sorry, guys apologizing to the opponents to a guy that would just actually try to put your fucking, your nose bone into your brainstem every fucking play. That nastiness, man, that's kind of what helped get us to where we needed to be. And he was the willingness to put a towel in your ass, with some powder to dry up that ass crack. He didn't have to do that. He could have told to go fuck you.
Nah,
you deal with my sweaty asshole, but he didn't.
He didn't have a choice.
He's a team player, bro. Okay.
He didn't have.
And you don't always get that. He did have a choice.
No,
he did.
He didn't.
I heard there was a little bit of but he finally said, fine, shove it up my ass. We'll get it done. We'll get a ring together, and that's what it ultimately ended up happening. So enjoy your retirement, Ryan. You're the fucking best, and man. It's gonna suck to not have you around. Really, maybe we need some additional offensive coaches.
Dude needs to go. No, he deserves a year off. Yeah. Go retire.
You make a hell of an offensive line coach.
Go smoke all the meats that you shoot in the forest where you live in that ridiculous cabin of yours. Like, go do all that cool shit. And then when you're bored of all that, you're like,
bro, he hung out with the team this year. He did not have to do that.
I get that, but I think it was part of his therapeutic release from the league. Right. I think that he had to do it that way. And now it's time to step away, go do your thing, and then come back after you when you're bored and say, hey, I'm ready to be the next AQ Shipley around here. What do I got to do? Right?
He could do whatever he wants, bro. He could be our special teams coach. How about that, Ryan?
I could see Ryan.
You don't even need to do anything.
Oh, we didn't even talk about that. We didn't even talk about that. We instantly became a better special teams unit when that guy retired. No offense to that dude. But he was easily one of the worst assistant coaches on this
trash
team.
Can head.
Absolutely terrible.
That's going to be a huge hire as well. I'm very excited to see who they go with there. Do they promote a Keith Tandy or do they go outside? And look around,
I like Tandy because Tandy was that guy that made those tackles, right? He understands the heart and soul of being a special teams player, right? Yeah. Can he set up a wedge block or whatever they're allowed to do now to spring a return? I don't know. Who knows? Right. He didn't touch the ball really, but is Rick Bisaccia still out there? Is he still with the Packers? What happened with that guy?
That would be a fun hire. I would love to have him
every year
back.
I see him in the background somehow. Like I'm watching a game, I'm like, oh look, there's Rich Bisaccia.
I thought the Packers for every team.
He's like the Ryan Fitzpatrick of coaches, bro.
Oh,
he's been everywhere.
I mean, that'd be the guy to bring back, but you bring him in there, you got an immediate succession right there. By the way, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no. One thing on Ryan Jensen, I think you have to rank him as probably a top 3 free agent addition of all time. Like I put him right up there with Hardy Nickerson.
Hardy number 1, Ryan number 2.
I think Simeon Rice.
Gronkowski number 3.
Simeon Rice is up there.
Simeon Rice, JPP. Hello, JPP.
Yeah,
that was a trade actually. No, he
just
was
free agency. Yeah. I mean, obviously Tom is up there too. Tom Brady, getting Tom. That's awesome. But I think Ryan really he goes.
Ryan played longer here. I'm sorry, but that just automatically puts him above him.
Right. No, I agree. I think Ryan.
Does Tom Brady do what Tom Brady does unless Ryan Jensen snapping in the ball with a non-sweat covered ass? No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Yeah. But I think Ryan.
Tom's not even in the top 10.
Ryan's impact, I think, is right there with Hardy Nickerson as far as like changing the culture. I think just bringing that nastiness on the field, that physicality that we needed. and just accountability up front. I think that was very important. So, yeah, I hope Ryan has the best retirement. I hope to see him on. He'll probably have like some type of cooking show, I'm sure. That'd be awesome to see him, grilling or whatever he does, smoking, all sorts of.
He should attach a GoPro to his shoulder, and get on his 4-wheeler in that forest and just record him killing animals. That right there, and then eating them.
That's a TV show.
Eating them, No, so now that he's retired, we got to ask this question: does he go in the Ring of Honor before Gerald McCoy?
I think he deserves to go in the Ring of Honor for sure.
No. That's not what I asked you, Pless.
Before Gerald?
Don't give me your politician answer. Does he go in before Gerald?
He probably should go in before. Yeah.
So what if they do that this year and Gerald's still waiting around, right? He's like,
I think that's fine. Yeah, I think that's fine.
Stank, you kind of played both sides of the Gerald McCoy conversation on this show.
I do. I love Gerald McCoy. Right now, I'm anti Gerald McCoy. I didn't really like how he was out there trying to politic for it, and don't do that. That's a bad look.
I like him as a Bucs fan.
Because of that, you got to wait 5 more years. Mac, by the way, with the super chat, for some reason the horn doesn't work, so I'm gonna. How far does this team go in this playoff if Jensen stays healthy and Marpet doesn't retire? Super Bowl.
Oh, they're in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
they're
probably
a top 5 offensive line.
Yeah.
Could you imagine
fucking question.
Jensen, Marpet, Tristan Wirfs, Luke Gedeke, and Mock. Mock would be kind of like the weak link, and even then, that's not saying much because he got so much better throughout the season.
Right. The only reason we don't win the Super Bowl in that scenario is because Baker is out concussed from trying to headbutt all those guys on a consistent basis. That's the only reason we don't. Yeah.
Could you imagine a guy like Red playing with a guy like Baker? That level.
They were headbutting
shit.
On the anyway.
He wasn't even playing. I know, that's what I'm saying. Can you imagine him on the field? Like if somebody just accidentally taps Baker a little bit too hard after he scrambled for like 12 yards at a first down. Ryan Jensen's killing people. Like that, they could instantly be like literally brothers. I think that if they could have played together, it'd have been awesome, man.
They should. You know what? I heard that Ryan whispered to Baker and said it should have been you that won the Super Bowl with us. That's what I heard. Like he said, it should have been you.
He wouldn't have made him wear that towel.
We carried that old fucking Weekend at Bernie's dude to a championship, to a Super Bowl. It should have been you. Yeah. So that's his biggest regret. You won't hear him say it publicly, but that's what I'm being told behind the scenes by my sources.
Yeah, that's the Bucs' biggest what if, right? Like if those, like it's that what if series from Marvel. Like that would have been
great series, by the way. Great series.
Oh yeah, very good. But yeah, that would have been the Bucs' what if. Like if Ryan Jensen was healthy, Marpet was still here playing, the left side would have been just so dominant. I mean, we could have ran the ball probably a lot better, obviously, and then pass protection would be on point, and Baker would be, probably untouched most of the year.
I love playing these fantasy scenarios out. We had 2 back-to-back. One B-Shuck. Just because he gave us $20.
That is the worst impression.
Fuck you.
Sound.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Next time you do it then. Next time, hey, somebody donate again so Stammer can do his version of it. Right. Somebody said feed Vita. Listen, Coen. I know you're watching, bro.
I think he was too well fed this year.
No, he was. No, but I'm saying, is Coen gonna feed Vita the ball?
Oh man.
Because we know Donkey's Day is fucking too scared, bro. We've been calling for it. It's an obvious thing, bro. Like you feed that guy.
Pless watches film. Pless, you've watched every single game that he's called at the pro level and the college level. Has he ever handed the ball off to a defensive lineman or offensive lineman? Has he ever had somebody come in and announce that they're eligible and have him sneak out for a pass in the back of the end zone?
I would have to do a lot more studying, but I haven't seen it. So
I gave you the assignment before we got on the show. Just say yes. Just say yes.
Say yes.
I haven't seen it yet, but I would love to see Vita Vea in the backfield or Tristan Wirfs catch a pass, because we saw a glimpse of Tristan Wirfs running this season, and I would like to see that again. Like just him go out like Penei Sewell does for Detroit. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
So if they shift the line down and he pronounces himself eligible, he's the tight end. Right. The defense isn't going to realize that he's not actually the left tackle. He's really the tight end, and the guy next to him is really the left tackle, and then the guy next to him is the guard in the center. Yeah, it's possible. And Cohen's creative. This isn't Dave Canales, right? This isn't the guy that's too pretty to figure out that he call trickeration. It'd be fun, man. It'd be fun to just hand him the ball. Just hand him the ball one time.
Yeah. One time.
Yeah.
No,
Vita Vea,
I'd love to see
One fucking time. Do that for morale. Like, you got to feed that guy.
You should just do it on the first play of the game just to get people fired up.
His first
play
call
of the season.
it.
Vita Vea in the backfield.
Fullback dive or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Right up the middle. Listen,
right up the gut.
Remember back in the day, they would give Allstott the ball just to wake up the rest of the team.
Yeah.
Because once he did something, everyone would just wake up like, oh shit, let's go. Mike's doing it again. That's what Vita should be doing right now. But I did say something about his weight earlier, and I do think he played a little heavy. And I feel bad saying that.
He looked heavier because he cut his hair. And ultimately, that's Latte's fault. It's Latte's fault that Vita kind of lost some of his swagger this year.
I honestly think he got
his numbers
injured,
were down.
and he gained some weight by being injured. That's really what it is, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah.
His numbers were definitely down. He did not have a great end of the season.
Started hot.
Yeah.
He did, yeah. Great. End of the season, he really, a lot of guys just fell off the fucking
then
face
it was Kalijah Yaya Diaby show, and you hope those guys continue to progress. I can't wait to see how they mature in their game, pass rushing.
How good was
everything.
fucking Cansey, bro?
God, Cansey was a stud, man. I mean, I'm still shocked that the Bucs actually took him at 19. I had no idea that they were going to really consider him. But when you look at it, it makes so much sense to bring a guy like that in. He showed, I mean, people were comparing him to Aaron Donald, and I was like, oh, you're crazy. But he does look like Aaron Donald at times, and he's showing a lot of things where he's just so much stronger than he looks, for his size, and he's very fast. Yeah, so fast. And very exciting. And then you have Yaya Diaby, who's similar as far as just physical freak of nature, right? Super athletic. It's going to be a lot of fun to see what they add to that room. I know edge has been mentioned as, a top need, especially in draft talks and stuff like that. We'll see what happens. I'm still very curious to see how JTS adjusts and maybe grows as far as a rotational guy. I think that's a good fit for him, being that second guy off the bench. And I'm also very excited to see what Marquise Watts does. I really like his game. I want to see more of him. But yeah, draft-wise, I think needs, edge would probably be one of the top ones they look at, especially in the first round. But I know we don't want to talk about the draft, but
no, dude, listen. What he did in the playoffs, that play he made against the Lions on that third down to get that sack, where he just jumped through and swam in between those two guys, and just, that was. Yep. To see him make big plays in big games was the biggest thing for me. Yeah. And I'm not saying this to be an asshole to Gerald McCoy, honestly, but the number of plays that he made already better than Gerald McCoy, just in terms of the flash and the eye test.
In
he
Gerald
impacted
McCoy's defense,
games.
He didn't play in very many big games.
I understand that, but in all of the games collectively, he made so many more splash plays that you remember saying that affected the game. That third
Nothing
down
affected
sack
the game because we were always getting our ass kicked.
You know what I mean? Just a splat, like a explosive play from a defensive tackle is a big deal.
I know you hate the guy, bro, but
I'm not hating on him.
Gerald was a special player.
I'm not. I'm saying
he had a freaky get off.
I'm saying, with that being said, Kalijah is that much more special. Seeing what he did this past year, and to get him and Yaya in the same draft, dude. And I feel like the Bucs have a guy, again, that nobody's really talking enough about, that they're going to steal at that 26th spot. And everyone's like, holy shit, we got ourselves a dude again.
Jason Light's been doing that, right?
They're so good at that, yeah. I mean, they could trade down, they could trade up, who knows? It all depends on how things, I thought Latu might be that guy, but Latu had such a great week this week that it's definitely not going to happen.
That's wishful thinking.
Yeah.
I mean,
pass rushers like that don't fall.
But he has an injury history. He has an injury history that might scare
possibility.
People.
Yeah.
If he's hitting the bong or doing something before the draft, maybe he slides to us. But that's not gonna happen.
So look, I have a smoke shop. I might be able to reach out to him, offer him something, hang out with him, and not known to him, record the video, then drop it hours before the draft. Literally hours before the draft.
Tunsil.
I like
and basically sabotage him for my team. And then when he gets drafted, I'll show up. He'll be like, "You motherfucker!" I'm like, "No, I did this for all of us. All right,
it's a team.
You're
effort.
in a better place here. Look, you got Yaya, you got Kalijah, you got Vita. I mean, did you want to go play for the Cardinals or whoever? Come on, dude. Look what we got." And I'm hooking you up. And then he's gonna thank me. We're gonna laugh about it years and years and years from now. So. I think it's a good plan.
It is a good plan. I agree with that sentiment.
So you willing to go in on this plan with me, Pless?
Hey, if we want to identify some draft prospects and plan these meetings, you get the private jet. I'm ready to go. We can make it happen.
Private jet's not the problem.
Yeah, we might have to spray you to look more Arab, so that looks kind of like you're part of the.
That's fine.
Part of the caravan.
Make me look like Robert Downey from Tropic Thunder, and we're ready to go.
Anyway, Pless, you mentioned earlier that you guys had dropped a video about Kentucky offensive coordinator Liam Coen, who is now the Buccaneers offensive coordinator. He looks beautiful in red, does he not? With the Buccaneers.
Is it official, by the way?
It's not official yet, apparently.
It's not even official yet.
He's still negotiating, which I completely respect. But Pless, let people know where they can watch that video and, of course, watch more of actual football talk with what you guys do.
Yeah, catch us at Real Bucs Talk. Again, you can search that on YouTube, type in Real Bucs Talk. And yeah, we put out a video last night. We thought Liam Coen was going to be the favorite. And guess what? This morning, the news broke. So very excited, to have him here. I think it's going to be great for this offense. And yeah, if you want to catch more as far as just about the team, film analysis, draft prospects, breakdowns, all that good stuff, catch us at Real Bucs Talk. And shout out to the Loose Cannons for having me back on here again. I really appreciate you guys always letting me come on and talk football with you.
Loose Cannons.
You don't even have
fake Bucs Talk.
You don't even have like a shocked face anymore when we go off the deep end. When we did an entire 15 minutes on why this guy is ugly and how it's going to be great. But I was going to say, let's just have you come on once a week, maybe once every couple weeks, and we'll do a mock, or you can do a mock, and then whoever that first round, whoever you end up mocking in that first pick, we'll have you come on and break down a little bit of film here. We'll run a couple clips. You talk about them. We'll talk about it. It'll be fun.
Simmer, it's time. We had a super chat earlier that asks what our off-season schedule. I think it was Mac again. Go ahead and do your horn sound real quick. No? Beep, beep, beep. All right. What's the podcast schedule for the off-season? Plan on getting any players on. We do have a special show coming up.
Yeah, we do have a special show coming up. Next week, we're going to do a Super Bowl foods draft where we're going to actually draft a 3 teams. A roster is going to be kind of put together to where
fantasy teams,
like a fantasy football draft. Yep. You got to have your proteins, your sides, snack, the whole deal. And then we're also going to have a draft expert break down every pick with us as we go through this.
We are.
This is like a real production, okay?
That's real production.
As it relates to the players coming on during the offseason, we plan on having a couple, maybe 3, 4, 5 different guys show up. It all depends on their schedules and when it all happens. And in terms of the show schedule, if something breaks, we're probably going to do a show that day. If something doesn't break and there's, maybe once a week we'll come on and we'll do a little,
draft coverage, yeah, for sure.
State of the address type of scenario. Free agency. Like there's some stuff that's coming up. So we'll be through here. Will it be twice a week? Probably not. It could be sometimes, and sometimes it'll be 3 times, sometimes it'll be 1. So just keep your ears peeled. You know how you can find out the best is hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that bell icon, and you will always be notified when we are going to go live or when we have a show scheduled. So that's probably the best thing.
If you do that, Sammer will actually give you his personal cell phone number too, and he'll text you as soon as we're about to go live. So make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and if you're is that only for the donors like Bishuk, big donors?
Yeah, no, I don't give out my cell phone number.
20,000 or more, you get our cell phones.
No, you don't. You never get my cell phone number. For those of you who are watching, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new, and hit the like button if you are not new. Like, I expect more likes when I get off this show. I expect this to be a massive number. Pless, thank you again so much.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
I'm excited about this guy, man. I'm excited about this dude. I'm excited about getting nasty on the O-line and finally having a run game. Hey, I'm telling you right now, Rachaad White, very happy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a great offense for the run game. Play action is going to be huge for us. I think it's going to be a lot of just good things, especially for Baker. It makes a lot of sense. So it's going to be very fun to watch this offense.
Jonas has been bothering me all night about this glass. Here it is, buddy.
Creamsicle.
It's not mine, actually. So my dad had a set of these.
Is that one of the McDonald's glasses?
I don't know what it is. It's got
No,
the Coca-Cola.
it's
It's
NFL.
something my dad had for a long time, and I
There was a time where restaurants like Pizza Hut and McDonald's would give shit like that away. I'm
Oh,
showing
okay.
my age. I'm showing my age. And there is a set. Anyways, I'm not going to go into that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where they come from. This one's definitely a set. I got 4 of them.
It says Coca-Cola on it. It probably was like a McDonald's giveaway.
It's awesome.
Well, whatever. They're nice, man. So anyway, all right. See you guys some point again next week, maybe. And go Bucs.
Go Bucs.
Go Bucs.
We fuck 'em up when we raise the flag.